this week, it's all about V12 exclusivity. So welcome to the Aston Martin Vanquish by Callum. This is the Vanquish Callum, one of only 25 that will be built. Callum is a design house in Warwickshire that have engineering right at the forefront of what they're trying to achieve. Now what they've done is they've taken an Aston Martin Vanquish, Ian Callum himself, who designed the original Vanquish, he's taken the Vanquish and he's done exactly what he wasn't allowed to do at Aston Martin, and he's made it basically amazing. So what they've done is they've upped the power to 580 odd brake horsepower, and they've tweaked everything underneath it. So the original Vanquish, I haven't actually driven one, but the original Vanquish apparently was too soft, was a bit vague going through corners. The interior wasn't really good enough. There was loads of Mondeo parts and old-fashioned parts that shouldn't have been anywhere near a car of that sort of money. And what they've done in this car is they have basically made it exactly what it should have been. So they've made it sound better, for instance. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that. They've gone to extraordinary lengths to make sure that this sounds absolutely spot on, this V12 that's up front. In this car, obviously, as you can tell, left-hand drive. This is prototype number 3. As I say, there will be 25 cars built. And that yowling V12, it's got a really sort of wonderful rasp to it low down, and then it absolutely sings when you get higher up the revs. It's usable power though. It's really weird. This gearbox that it's got here, it's a 6-speed manual gearbox in this one, is manly. The throws are quite long. You have to be quite aggressive with it. Everything though about this car is so wonderfully artisan. The seats, they've taken the old seats away, which you sat way too high in the car. You couldn't get the steering angle and the rake right in the old car. So what they did was they've lowered the seat in the car, new seat. The seat really holds you in the bottom of the seat and then across the shoulders, but it's still very, very comfortable. You sit a lot lower in the car, feeling much more connected with it. The steering wheel, they took that off, but instead of throwing it away and making a new one, it's still an old Vanquish steering wheel, but they've milled it down so it is much, much smaller in the hand, which makes it feel so much more tactile somehow. I can't tell you how good that noise is though. It is bloody fantastic. And I'll tell you what, even though I've only been in this car today, only for a few hours, it inspires confidence the second you get in it. The front track has been widened by 50mm, the rear track has been widened by 33mm, the wheels are now 20-inch, not 19-inch, so they are the same original design because there was nothing wrong with the original design. They looked fantastic on the original Vanquish, but this one, they've just filled out the arches a bit more, made the car look so much more aggressive. The whole look of the car has just been completely sorted. So the aluminium body has been more or less left untouched. The haunches that look like they're sat squash, shrouded over those rear wheels properly. The front end, the bumper has been changed and is now carbon fibre. The lights are no longer in the bottom of the front bumper. They're now in the light pods themselves, which are carbon fibre and look beautiful. They're all LEDs. You've got all of the indicators and the lights all in there, and the side lights, etc, etc. Just cleans up the front end massively. The wing mirrors, the original wing mirrors on the Aston Martin Vanquish were dreadful. Go back and have a look. You might not have ever noticed, but now you will. These ones are bespoke, again, carbon fibre. You've got the trim around the window, all different, changed, new, pretty, beautiful, fits in with the door perfectly. You have other little things like the fuel filler cap. You can have anything engraved on the top of that with a carbon fibre surround. The rear light pods, all completely different. Done away with the horrible old looking lights, and this one has beautiful new lights, which has cost Callum loads of money to to change and rectify and make them just so. The rear chrome bar across the boot lid, gone. Looks so much better for being all body colour. The front end, obviously wider, slightly larger grille, all made from billet aluminium, and this one is in dark chrome. It looks absolutely wonderful. It is aggressive and has so much presence on the road. It just works so beautifully. The front and rear of the car is so well proportioned. The rear bumper is now carbon fibre. The rear diffuser is so aggressive, and the way it cuts in underneath just looks fantastic. Also, the back box of the exhaust is part of the rear diffuser, which is just such a lovely design cue. It looks amazing. Its function and form being brought together as one. It's wonderful. The fact is that Callum, as a design house, want to be known as like the Singer of Aston Martin, if you like, for these 25 cars that they're going to build. And this feels a lot like that. I haven't driven a Singer, but I have seen them in the flesh, and you know, the lovely leather and you know, everything about them is just you know, tactile and wonderful. This feels very similar because the little details that you don't notice until you spend a little time with this car. There are 400 odd changes to this car over the original Vanquish, making it more aggressive, bringing all of the technology into this day and age. So we've got Apple CarPlay. The center console doesn't feel much more different from an Aston Martin of this day and age. Yeah, listen to that! The brakes in this car are stolen / borrowed from the DB11 that is a current model. So they're carbon ceramics, and they give this car the stopping power that it deserves, and the confidence on the brake pedal. It's just magnificent. It's a really special car, and the second you get in it, you feel like you have to grab it by the scruff of the neck and really manhandle this 6-speed gearbox. But it gives you so much confidence over the front end. You don't necessarily thrash it all the way up the revs. What you do is you drive it, we're at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 RPM now change. You don't have to drive it like a complete yobbo to lean on that lovely wave of power from this naturally aspirated V12 out front. Oh, listen to that British soundtrack. It's amazing. The car doesn't roll and wobble through corners. It's really supple and soft, as a GT car should be, but you also feel like you could really hustle this down a road and it would sort of thank you for it, because it's got manly power and a manly gearbox. The other things in here, you've got beautiful Bremont clocks all over the shop. I love the Bremont clocks. There's a Bremont clock up here which comes off and is just magnificent. You get that with the price of the car. The clocks in front, they're made by Bremont. They've got beautiful burnt orange accents, and the needles are burnt orange. It looks fantastic. The burnt orange on here, the burnt orange on the seats in the stitching, they feel so artisan and so beautiful and wonderfully made that, you know, it's just such a nice place to be. The carbon fibre that's all over this car. Obviously, carbon fibre, when this car was originally made, was, you know, 20 years ago, was quite a difficult thing, and they hadn't sort of mastered it back then so much. It was a very expensive material. Now, obviously, people are good at making it, and they make it very, very well. So we've got carbon all down the dashboard. All of the switches on here, matching carbon weave. All of those tiny little things just please my OCD so much. And it makes you think, God, they've spent so much time and effort going through the small things that add up to such a big thing when you're spending over £500,000 on a car. Only 25 of these will be made, and those lucky 25 that will get to own one, I don't think you'll regret it in any way, shape or form. It feels so special. All over this car you'll see some design cues that are called deconstructed tartan. So all in the back of the seats here, where the lovely C logo for Callum is, it's all over the car. It's in the air vents, it's in the side, in the top, on the bonnet, it's in the seats, it's all over the place. It's in the Mulberry hand luggage. You get Mulberry hand luggage with this, which is just such a lovely touch. They don't have to do that, but can you imagine filling up your Mulberry hand luggage with your girlfriend or wife and going across Europe all the way down to the south of France in your Aston Martin Vanquish? I mean, what could be cooler? Literally, what could be cooler? That is as cool as it gets, isn't it? It's a really, really special car, and I really hope that Callum, as a design house, you know, keep concentrating on the engineering side of things and keep making fabulous cars like this. And I know they're not just going to be doing car stuff, they're going to be doing boats, they're going to be doing other things, much like Pininfarina or any of those. They are a design house that will be making cars like Zagato do, but these guys are really concentrating on the engineering side of things, and I think that's a recipe for great success. It really is. Oh, I hope that's going. What a great noise. Oh, this V12 is absolutely fan-bloody-tastic. What a great machine. Listen to it, and it inspires so much confidence. It's so supple. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Can't get enough of it. I love the passion that's gone into the fact that Ian Callum designed this car. They've left the design well alone, and they've just made it better. They've just taken everything and turned it up to 11, and I think that is such a wonderful way of creating something magical. You know, the Aston Martin made something fantastic in the first place, and they're just making something better. More people should think like that. It's brilliant. Well done, Callum. Well done.